cancer diagnosis is devastating for anyone. Now, imagine you are also one of the most recognisable figures on the planet. We can scarcely conceive of the added anguish of knowing that what is a matter of life and death for you and your immediate family will surely become fodder for global headlines and a feast for internet trolls. Behind closed doors, it seems Catherine, Princess of Wales, did all she could to process and manage her diagnosis privately for the sake of her young family. But a storm of conspiracy theories brewed online. Where is Catherine? Why haven't we seen her? What are the royal family hiding from us? On today's episode of Reading the Royals, I follow Catherine on her road to recovery, from her last public appearance all the way to her triumphant return and all the controversial moments in between. Ultimately, Catherine's journey symbolises one of hope for fellow cancer patients. Despite her own personal annus horribilis, she has become a beacon of courage and dignity as she insisted on managing her recovery on her own terms. And let's not forget, she did all this while securing huge support from the public as our future Queen along the way. As is tradition, the Wales family attended the Christmas morning service at Sandringham Church on December the 25th, 2023. Here we have the Prince and Princess of Wales with their 3 children, George, Charlotte and Louis. Zara and Mike Tyndall's daughter Mia is also seen tagging along. Now, this appearance only really became notable later, as it marks the last time we saw Catherine in public before her diagnosis. Catherine stands out in a cobalt blue coat by one of her favourite designers, Alexander McQueen. The rest of the Wales family seem to echo this by wearing more muted shades of blue and green. I think it goes to show just how much of a family unit they are, foreshadowing the strength that will be tested in the months to come. However, what I think is most striking about this photo is how happy and carefree the family appears, particularly Catherine. Here she is walking hand in hand with Princess Charlotte as they head to church. I mean, how much more wholesome can you get? Zara and Mike Tyndall's eldest daughter Mia were seen walking beside the Wales family, and she seems to be particularly fond of Catherine. We also saw her helping the Princess of Wales to collect bouquets from the crowds, lining the path to St Mary Magdalene Church. This goes to show how Catherine is seen as a maternal figure, not just by her own children, but apparently by other young members of the royal family too. Fast forward to January the 16th, 2024, and the Princess of Wales is admitted to the London Clinic. The private 56-room hospital has discreetly treated royals, including the late Queen, Prince Philip and Princess Margaret, since its opening in 1932. It is here that Catherine undergoes planned abdominal surgery, and while the reason for this procedure has never been publicly disclosed, we now know from the Princess's own statements that her cancer diagnosis did not come until after the surgery. The next day, on January the 17th, Kensington Palace informed the public that Catherine's surgery was successful and that she would stay at the private hospital to recover for 10 to 14 days. Additionally, we were told that the Princess of Wales would not take part in any formal engagements for 6 weeks until Easter Sunday on March the 31st. Obviously, this was huge news at the time, and it was plastered across the front pages of newspapers in Britain and across the world. But the unexpected royal announcements did not stop there. On the same day, Kensington Palace confirmed Catherine had undergone planned abdominal surgery at the London Clinic. Buckingham Palace shared the news that King Charles would also be headed to the hospital to undergo treatment for an enlarged prostate. I mean, not one, but 2 royal hospitalizations announced on the same day. This was shocking. However, there was one key difference between the 2 announcements. While Catherine opted not to share any details of her procedure, which of course she was perfectly entitled to do, the King wished to share details of his diagnosis to encourage others experiencing similar symptoms to get checked. The palace confirmed that Charles's public engagements would also be postponed for a short period of recuperation. Of course, Catherine was not left alone in her recovery. Here we can see Prince William leaving the back entrance of the London Clinic on January the 18th. As a father myself, I can appreciate how exhausting this period must have been for him, as he was trying to juggle supporting his wife in hospital and looking after their young brood at home. When Charles was admitted to the London Clinic on January the 26th for his procedure, he also made sure to toddle over from his hospital bed to visit his beloved daughter-in-law. Catherine and Charles share a love of art, gardening and the outdoors, and though they didn't know it at the time, their bond would only strengthen over the next year due to their shared cancer diagnoses. Almost 2 weeks after undergoing abdominal surgery, Catherine is discharged and returns to Adelaide Cottage. Here you can see 2 blacked-out vehicles leaving the back entrance of the London clinic on January the 29th. The blacked-out windows point to a larger theme at the heart of Catherine's recovery story: privacy. Throughout her cancer journey, Catherine reassessed her priorities and decided to recover out of the spotlight, and most importantly, on her own terms. This emphasis on privacy is reflected in the vague statement that Kensington Palace released, which read, "The Princess of Wales has returned home to Windsor to continue her recovery from surgery. She is making good progress. The Prince and Princess wish to say a huge thank you to the entire team at the London Clinic, especially the dedicated nursing staff, for the care they have provided." As Catherine continued to recover at home, William took time off to be with her and their young family. Then on February the 5th, the public were told that the King had been diagnosed with cancer. In a testament to his dedication to the Crown, William stepped into his father's shoes without hesitation, returning to public-facing duties on February the 7th. Here he is attending a gala for the London Air Ambulance charity at the OWO Hotel in central London, where he was joined by a very familiar face. William and Tom Cruise have developed quite a friendship over the years, spurred along by their shared love of aviation. Indeed, he and Catherine are said to be big fans of the Top Gun franchise, having attended the premiere of Top Gun Maverick in 2022. It was even reported that Tom Cruise hosted a private screening for the royal couple at Kensington Palace earlier the same year. So with Tom Cruise by his side, William made his first public comments about the King's shock cancer diagnosis at the gala dinner for London's Air Ambulance charity, of which he is the patron. "I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you for the kind messages of support for Catherine and for my father, especially in recent days," William told the gala dinner. "It means a great deal to us all. It's fair to say the past few weeks have had a rather medical focus, so I thought I'd come to an air ambulance function to get away from it all. I think the true mark of a future king is the ability to find light even in the darkest of times, a gift William has no doubt inherited from his grandmother Queen Elizabeth, who addressed the country with poise during periods of political unrest, and not to mention a pandemic." Yeah, this is a lovely photo actually. It sort of illustrates for me really the brave face that William did put on a very difficult year. You know, often from his demeanour at events like this, you'd never know what was going on behind the scenes. They looked like they were having a good chuckle. On February the 18th, William attended the BAFTAs without Catherine by his side. It is important to remember that Wales's appearance on the BAFTA red carpet has become somewhat of a staple of the event, as William has been president of the British Academy of Film and Television Arts since 2010. William and Catherine even made their debut as the Prince and Princess of Wales at the 2023 BAFTA Awards, when they coordinated in statement black and white looks. So it is no wonder that her absence was duly noted. Just over a week later, on February 27th, Prince William did not attend a memorial service at St George's Chapel for his godfather, former King Constantine of Greece. This was arguably the straw that broke the backs of conspiracy theorists all over the world. Although the Prince of Wales was meant to deliver a reading at the memorial service, he bowed out at the last minute, citing personal matters. Spare a thought for Queen Camilla, the most senior royal at the event, who was left to hold down the fort. To shut down public concern, Kensington Palace issued a brief update about Catherine's health, saying she continues to be doing well. We later learned that both Charles and Catherine were diagnosed with cancer in February, with the Princess starting a course of preventative chemotherapy sometime later in the month. Perhaps William opted to be by her side for her first treatment rather than at his godfather's memorial service. We may never know, but it seems plausible. By late February, all we knew was that Catherine had undergone abdominal surgery earlier in the year and that she was recovering at home but doing well. But with Catherine and now William missing from a string of high-profile events and the absence of any official news, online conspiracy theorists started to fill in the gaps with an explosion of sinister and often slanderous speculation about her condition. Some ridiculous theories claim that Catherine was the artist Banksy, or even recovering from a Brazilian bum lift, or waiting for a bad haircut to grow out. One Spanish television channel even falsely reported that she was in a coma. Many other conspiracies are quite frankly unspeakable. With the hashtag #WhereIsKateMiddleton trending on X, celebrities started jumping on the bandwagon, with the likes of Kim Kardashian posting a picture of herself with a caption that read, "On my way to find Kate." In response to rampant online speculation about the princess, a spokesman said, "Kensington Palace made it clear in January the timelines of the princess's recovery, and we'd only be providing significant updates. That guidance stands." Unfortunately, Catherine's silence only encouraged more sinister theories to come in thick and fast. Amid the online turmoil, the Princess of Wales was caught by paparazzi for the first time since her operation. She was pictured being driven near Windsor Castle by her mother, Carol Middleton. The unauthorised photos were taken shortly before 9 a.m. on March the 4th and quickly snapped up by US gossip website TMZ. However, I will not be showing them here out of respect for Catherine's wish to be able to recuperate in private. Despite how intrusive the pictures are, I did take a sort of comfort in seeing Carol Middleton in the driver's seat. It is nice to see that Catherine, who has always been seen as somewhat of a matriarch within the royal family, is being supported by her own mother and no doubt a large network of family and friends during her darkest time. Catherine inadvertently added fuel to the conspiracy theory fire by posting a rather unassuming family photo to mark Mothering Sunday on March the 10th. At first glance, it is a lovely photo, as she is seen surrounded by her 3 children, Prince Louis, Princess Charlotte and Prince George. But royal watchers were quick to point out a long list of issues contained within the seemingly harmless post. For example, it looks as though Charlotte is missing a section of her sleeve, and her knee is slightly blurred. Social media users also notice that the ledge on the left-hand side of the family looks wonky, and that Louis's thumb appears to be blurred against his trouser leg. That same day, Reuters, Getty and AFP retracted the photograph, with some agencies issuing a kill notice. Put simply, this is an order for publications not to publish the image, as it was deemed to be false or deceiving. The following day, on March the 11th, Catherine issued a heartfelt apology and publicly took the blame for the edited photograph. In a rare personal message on X, signed C for Catherine, the future Queen said she occasionally experimented as an amateur photographer, and she apologised for any confusion the photograph had caused. "Like many amateur photographers, I do occasionally experiment with editing," she said. "I wanted to express my apologies for any confusion the family photograph we shared yesterday caused. I hope everyone celebrating had a very happy Mother's Day. C." The tweet has since been seen by 38.2 million people, and you have to understand that an apology such as this is unprecedented. For me, it was clear that this was Catherine taking control of her own narrative. She had made what she considered a mistake, and now here she was, ensuring that nobody else would have to clear up the mess. At the time, insiders revealed the princess thought that honesty was the best policy, and she convinced the palace's PR team to allow her to own up to her Photoshop blunder and post the extraordinary apology. As you can imagine, this photoshopped image did not help to extinguish the cruel conspiracy theories. Social media users started claiming that Catherine was being held in a mental institution against her will, while others said they had evidence that her body was cremated during a private ceremony. I mean, how obscene. In a poll at the time, half of Brits admitted to having read conspiracy theories about the princess online, and it seems even medical professionals were swept up in the ruckus. On March the 20th, the Daily Mail reported that staff at the London clinic attempted to access Catherine's medical records. This was a particularly grim possibility, given how vulnerable Catherine must have already been feeling at the time. An investigation was promptly launched by the Information Commissioner's Office, who confirmed to me during the production of this episode that it is still ongoing. Now I remember this like it was yesterday, March the 22nd, the day the world held its breath as we watched a deeply personal, unprecedented and emotional video message from Catherine herself. Filmed at Windsor, Catherine revealed she had been diagnosed with cancer, with the news coming as a huge shock. Speaking from a bench surrounded by daffodils and spring blossom, the future Queen confirmed that cancer was discovered only after she underwent major abdominal surgery at the London clinic in January. Catherine shared the news that she had been undergoing preventative chemotherapy treatment since February. The Princess has since given us the occasional glimpse into what this treatment entailed, including secret visits to the Royal Marsden Hospital in London, where she was fitted with a semi-permanent port in her chest. This became somewhat of a lifeline for the Princess, as despite the ongoing discomfort, it would make certain treatments more palatable. I will merely echo what King Charles said about his beloved daughter-in-law the day she followed in his footsteps and revealed her diagnosis. I am so proud of Catherine for her courage in speaking as she did. It is no surprise that the news of Catherine's cancer diagnosis travelled quickly, and soon our friends across the pond at the White House were wishing the Princess of Wales a full recovery. Sticking to its guns, Kensington Palace said it would not be sharing details of what kind of cancer the Princess has, or what stage of cancer it is, pleading with people not to speculate. Sadly, nothing quenches the yearning of a thirsty troll. Within minutes of Catherine's announcement, trolls began spreading bizarre posts that her video was AI generated, while others criticised her for not going public sooner. The sickening uploads saw trolls doctor Catherine's heartfelt message with the faces of Princess Diana or Meghan Markle to prove how easily a deep fake could be created. But as the trolls went low, Catherine rose higher. Doing everything she could to process and manage her diagnosis privately for the sake of her children, Catherine and the Wales family did not appear at the annual Easter service on March the 31st, despite the palace's initial statement that she would step back from official duties until Easter Sunday. I do believe this was the right call. I can't imagine how damaging it would have been if the children were to attend this event in front of the cameras without their mother for support. Meanwhile, William returned to his public duties on April the 18th with a visit to the Hamworth Centre hub in Surrey. Remember, with a slimmed-down monarchy and two senior members out of play, the pressure was very much on William. He would later admit that it was the hardest year of his life, but I also believe it was the year in which he proved himself as our future king. As expected, William and Catherine did not make a public appearance to mark their 13th wedding anniversary. Instead, they released this never-before-seen picture from their wedding day. There is no doubt that their vows in sickness and in health took on a new meaning in 2024. I think by posting this beautiful black and white picture across their social media accounts, they're acknowledging the importance and relevance of their vows. William joined the King and Queen at the 80th anniversary of D-Day in Portsmouth on June the 5th. Despite facing one of the hardest years of his life, he took on his role as heir to the throne with courage and vigour. After delivering a rousing speech, he met veterans who asked if his wife was getting any better, to which he replied, "She is better, thanks. She would have loved to be here today." Like many, Catherine has a personal connection to D-Day, as her grandmother, Valerie Middleton, served at Bletchley Park as a codebreaker, and she would have no doubt been disappointed to miss this poignant occasion. Even though Catherine had confirmed the reason for her hiatus from public life, online chatter about her whereabouts continued to ramp up. In particular, an anonymous comment on Reddit blew up on TikTok, claiming that the Princess of Wales was secretly staying in Texas to receive treatment at the world-renowned MD Anderson Cancer Center. In a rare move, Kensington Palace confirmed to the Houston Chronicle that the claims were in fact false. Rather than Texas, it is understood that Catherine moved between Adelaide Cottage at Windsor and the family's country home, Anmer Hall, in rural Norfolk during her treatment. We have seen how involved Catherine is as a mother. Indeed, she is believed to have shunned the royal tradition of having a team of nannies on hand to look after her children, opting for just one nanny instead. So there is no way the princess would up and leave her 3 children for months on end to receive treatment at a clinic in the American South. On June the 14th, we received our first update from Catherine since she had revealed her diagnosis. "I'm making good progress," she said, "but as anyone going through chemotherapy will know, there are good days and bad days." This picture from the inspirational video shows Catherine standing against a tree, and I would argue that it perfectly illustrates how the princess embraced the healing power of nature during her cancer treatment. The mother of 3 sought comfort and strength from being outdoors with her family during her cancer battle last year. She is known to practice forest bathing, a pastime which originated in Japan, of walking slowly and thoughtfully through woodlands. This was a beautiful picture. This was such a relief to see Catherine again after so long and look at the smile on her face. Much to the relief of the country, Catherine made her first public appearance at Trooping the Colour in 2024. Here she is riding in the glass carriage. What's not shown in this picture is the sheer number of royal fans lining the Mall to support their future queen. But no one was as relieved by Catherine's presence as her children, George, Charlotte and Louis, who watched the ceremony from her side. Although Trooping the Colour is meant to be a celebration of the monarch's birthday, this photo of Catherine and Charlotte is by far away the most touching from that day. In a raw moment, Catherine quietly admires Charlotte as she watches the red arrows fly above Buckingham Palace. I think this simple image shows just how much Catherine's priorities have shifted since her diagnosis. Instead of being consumed by the big things in life, in this case the jets roaring through the sky above her, she is grateful for, in her own words, the simple yet important things in life, which so many of us often take for granted, such as spending time with her young family. Prince William's presence on day 2 of Royal Ascot in 2024 was another positive indication of Catherine's recovery. Although the princess herself was not at the races, which are a staple in the royal calendar, William was joined by her mother Carol and father Michael Middleton. All three appeared to be in good spirits, which royal fans took to mean that Catherine was also doing well behind the scenes. But as many know firsthand, recovery is not a linear process, and Catherine has every right to take every day as it comes. This picture mirrors a similar snap of Prince William and Carol Middleton enjoying 2025 Ascot. Although the Princess of Wales was listed as part of the official carriage list and expected to attend on the day many of her friends and family were in the royal enclosure, Kensington Palace announced at the last minute she would not be there after all. Royal aides insisted the original carriage list had been issued in error. The palace would say only that the princess was disappointed, but has to find the right balance as she fully returns to public-facing duties. While we may never know exactly why Catherine pulled out of Ascot so suddenly, the incident served as a reminder to us all that her return to duties is somewhat of a work in progress, and that she was very poorly not so long ago. Indeed, sources close to Catherine told my colleague Rebecca English that the princess has been through hell and back over the past year, and that she is lucky to even be speaking of recovery. In a recent visit to Colchester Hospital in 2025, Catherine shared a deeply personal insight as she spoke with patients at a cancer wellbeing centre, describing the cancer diagnosis as life-changing and the treatment and recovery a roller coaster. The princess said there was an expectation that patients crack on, get back to normal. But, she said, the very scary, very daunting experience did not end with the conclusion of treatment, with patients needing to take time to find their new normal. Catherine has made it clear that she will not be rushed on her journey back to full health. But it seems Wimbledon on July the 14th, 2024 was an event she did not want to miss. With her mini-me daughter Charlotte proudly watching on, Catherine presented Carlos Alcaraz with the coveted men's singles trophy on the centre court to rapturous applause and even a standing ovation from the crowd. Despite having seen Catherine at Trooping the Colour barely a month before, it was clear the crowd felt the need to let their future queen know how beloved she was in her time of need. And the wave of applause clearly meant the world to Catherine, who was seen biting her lip as she was overcome with emotion. Similarly, applause was heard when we saw Catherine attend the men's and women's final at Wimbledon 2025, handing the winners' trophies to the men and women respectively. But the Princess of Wales also spoke to the players who came second, telling Amanda Anisimova to keep her head up high, a lesson Catherine undoubtedly learned when facing a barrage of hate and harassment from online trolls during her cancer journey. On September the 9th, we received the news that Catherine had completed her chemotherapy treatment. In a candid video montage showing her young family playing on hay bales and running around on a Norfolk beach, Catherine said she is now focused on staying cancer-free and gradually returning to work after completing chemotherapy. This image from the intimate video shows the Wales family at the end of what Catherine described as an incredibly tough 9 months. What shines through is just how happy and carefree the children look. It reminds me of the first picture we looked at during this episode. We should not forget, of course, that Catherine's young brood have also endured an incredibly tough time over the past year. As parents, there is only so much we can keep from our children, particularly when it comes to physical illness. It is one of the reasons my colleague Rebecca English reported that the Prince and Princess of Wales decided to breed from their spaniel Orla. Not only has it been something fun for the children to look forward to, but I believe they're planning to keep one of the pups. In another image, we can see the Wales children playing a card game with their grandparents, Carol and Michael Middleton. It is a sure sign that Catherine's parents have been there for the family throughout her recovery. The Princess of Wales used this remarkable video to emphasise that she now focuses on the simple things in life, of simply loving and being loved, a beautiful message that we should all take note of. Although Catherine was no longer undergoing chemotherapy, she made it clear that she would continue to stand by those who remained on their cancer journeys, side by side, hand in hand. And nothing illustrates this more than her friendship with Liz Hatton. This picture of the princess embracing Liz at Windsor on October the 2nd went viral, and for good reason. Liz, an exceptionally talented young photographer, was diagnosed with desmoplastic small round cell tumour and had drawn up a bucket list of assignments she wanted to capture before she died. After the Prince of Wales heard her story, he invited her to Windsor Castle to photograph an investiture he was holding. Much to the family's surprise, he then invited them for tea afterwards, with his wife Catherine making a surprise appearance. The Palace Confidential team actually had the privilege of meeting Liz and helping her tick off one of the assignments on her list. Like the Prince and Princess of Wales, we were deeply moved by Liz's strength, maturity and determination to face her terminal diagnosis head on. Liz had hoped to make Christmas, and her family even tried to bring forward their own celebrations so that she could spend it with her young brother Matteo. But sadly, Liz died quietly in the early hours of November the 27th, 2024. Speaking at a memorial service for her daughter, Vicky Rabania told the Daily Mail that the royal couple had been so kind, so caring, and that she couldn't thank them or their team enough. Surrounded by her talented daughter's photographs that first brought her to William and Catherine's attention, she said, "They are so incredibly kind. They have been in touch throughout. It's been a difficult time, but we have had messages from them. They and their team are often checking in. They've looked after us incredibly." In a token of appreciation, 9-year-old Matteo recently gifted the Prince and Princess of Wales 2 Jellycat soft toys because they were Liz's favourite, and she would have wanted to give them to the people who made her happy. As well as making meaningful connections behind palace doors, Catherine made her first public appearance on October the 10th to Southport to comfort the families of the 3 girls who were murdered in a horrific knife attack which took place there in July. Catherine and William spent half an hour with each of the families of Bebe King, Elsie Stankham and Alice de Silva Aguiar. No further details were given out of respect for their ongoing grief. Afterwards, the couple spoke to emergency responders who attended and helped on the day, with the princess hailing them true heroes, while William called them true professionals. Although William had promised the people of Southport that he would visit them as soon as possible, Catherine's decision to join him was more last minute. In the mark of a true future queen, it is understood that she wanted to show her support, empathy and compassion to the local community. I can't help but think that Princess Diana would be proud of her daughter-in-law for the compassion shown to the community affected by the Southport attack. It is almost certainly a visit that Diana would have made were she still alive. On December the 6th, Catherine hosted her annual carol service, attended by members of the royal family, as well as the recently bereaved Hatton family. Catherine has organised the Together at Christmas carol service since 2021, and it is always a moving event. But in 2024, it was even more so, as she called for the nation to slow down and reflect on the deeper things that connect us all, and turn to love, not fear. Speaking to the singer Paloma Faith, who expressed sympathy for the princess, Catherine replied, "I didn't know this time last year it was going to be the year I've just had." Despite her moving words, this is the moment that brought a tear to my eye. Catherine and William's youngest, Prince Louis, placing a special message on the kindness tree for his granny and grandpa, thanking them because they played games with me. This may remind you of the video released by the Princess of Wales, which we looked at earlier, where Louis was seen playing card games around a table with Carol and Michael Middleton. Family was clearly the most important thing to the Wales children as they watched their mother go through a grueling course of preventative chemotherapy and Christmas was the perfect time to celebrate that. In what was a full circle moment, Catherine again joined her young family for the Christmas morning service at Sandringham. You'll remember that this occasion a year prior was the last time we saw the Princess of Wales before she underwent surgery and revealed her shocking diagnosis to the world. Although Catherine looks beautiful in emerald green, the best part about this picture is the faces of her children. You can just see how relieved they are for the princess to return to the heart of the royal family fold. On January the 14th, almost a year to the day she was originally admitted to hospital, Catherine visited the Royal Marsden in West London, where she received her treatment. The mother of three met with patients to show her support and personally thank staff for their exceptional care, support and compassion over the past 12 months. The visit came as Kensington Palace revealed that the princess would join her husband as joint royal patron of the Marsden, a role that Prince William's mother Diana, Princess of Wales, once held before her. And what better way for Catherine to announce that she is now in remission? My colleague Rebecca English revealed that Catherine's visit to the Royal Marsden Hospital was the next stage in a carefully calibrated plan to manage her recovery and measured return to official duties, and one that is being decided by Catherine herself. It is another example of the quiet, unhurried conviction that the instinctively shy girl from Berkshire has shown since marrying into the royal family more than a decade ago, particularly as regards to her own royal duties and the upbringing of her children. Catherine has shown time and time again that she will not be moved by knee-jerk reactions to public opinion. No mean feat in today's social media-dominated world. So there you have it, Catherine's year in recovery, from her moving video statement last March to September's extraordinarily intimate family video. The Princess of Wales has shown admirable determination to speak about the devastating challenges of her cancer journey, but always on her own terms. In the past, both Catherine and the King have acknowledged the privileged position they occupy, but cancer is a leveller, and there is little one-upmanship to be had when you are sat down by a doctor and told that you have a potentially fatal disease. And in Catherine's case, at such a relatively young age. If and when she is ready to tell us more about her health journey, she will. And until then, I have no doubt that Catherine will continue to use her voice to amplify the experiences of those who can't, and always in the way that she and nobody else thinks is right. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Catherine's courage, resolve and forbearance of the past 18 months. So do comment, like and subscribe to the Daily Mail Royals channel so we can notify you about all our exclusive content. Thank you for watching. I'm Richard Eden. Goodbye.